The confetti has barely settled in Seattle, but the cold reality of the NFL business is already hitting the Seahawks like a freight train. We are witnessing a pivotal moment for the reigning champions. You think winning the Super Bowl makes life easier? Think again. It puts a giant target on your back. We have a critical coaching departure shaking the quarterback room, a blockbuster trade rumor involving Max Crosby that could break the league, and a controversial decision looming over our Super Bowl MVP. The dynasty talk starts now, but only if they handle this chaos correctly. Before we dive deep, help us crush our goal of 1,000 subscribers by hitting that button right now. We begin with a significant development coming out of the Virginia Mason Athletic Center that strikes at the very heart of the Seahawks' offensive continuity. Sources have confirmed that quarterbacks coach Andrew Janocko is officially leaving the Seattle Seahawks. Now, let's look at the facts before we get emotional. The team has managed to secure the retention of other key offensive assistants, ensuring that the broader system remains intact for the upcoming season. This is a calculated move by the front office to maintain the structural integrity of the playbook that just delivered a Lombardi trophy. However, you cannot simply gloss over the departure of the man who sat directly across from the quarterback every single day in the meeting room. This is where I have a major problem with the narrative that everything is fine. You do not mess with the chemistry of a championship quarterback room unless you absolutely have to. Andrew Janocko was instrumental in the development and stabilization of the passing game. He was the voice in the ear of the quarterback when things got tough. When you look at the precision, the timing, and the execution we saw on the field, Janocko's fingerprints were all over that success. Why on earth would you allow a key architect of your quarterback's success to walk out the door right after reaching the mountaintop? It baffles me. I understand the business. I understand coaches get better offers or want new challenges, but for the Seattle Seahawks, this creates an unnecessary variable in an equation that was already solved. The relationship between a quarterback and his position coach is sacred. It is built on trust, nuance, and hours of film study. Now you are bringing in a new voice, a new personality, and asking them to replicate magic. That is a dangerous game to play. The front office deserves credit for keeping the rest of the offensive staff together, preventing a total brain drain, which is common for Super Bowl winners. But make no mistake, the pressure is now squarely on whoever steps into those shoes. They are not walking into a rebuild. They are walking into a room that expects perfection. If the quarterback play regresses even one step, if there is even a hint of miscommunication next season, everyone will point back to this moment. You cannot take continuity for granted in the National Football League. This is a league of inches and split-second decisions. Losing Janocko removes a layer of certainty from the most important position in sports. The Seahawks are betting that the system is stronger than the individual coach, but that is a gamble that has burned plenty of defending champions in the past. They better have a replacement lined up who is ready to work from day one, because the standard in Seattle has never been higher.
Listen, the Seahawks front office is moving at light speed, and you cannot afford to miss a single update. If you want to keep getting exclusive insights and raw analysis like this, smash that subscribe button immediately. If you thought the coaching news was heavy, brace yourselves, because the rumor mill is spinning out of control with a potential move that would shatter the power balance of the NFC. Insider information circulating around the league suggests that the Seattle Seahawks are exploring a blockbuster trade to acquire Las Vegas Raiders pass rusher Max Crosby. Let that sink in for a second. We are talking about Max Crosby, the Condor, one of the most relentless, terrifying, and dominant defensive forces on the planet. The logic here is undeniable from a tactical standpoint. The Seahawks just won a title, and history tells us that the best way to defend a title is to make sure the opposing quarterback never feels comfortable. Adding Crosby to a defense that is already playing with championship swagger is simply unfair. It is borderline illegal. This is the kind of aggressive, all-in mentality that separates dynasties from one-hit wonders. Imagine the sheer violence of that defensive front. You put Max Crosby on one edge, you rotate your existing pressure packages, and you essentially tell every offensive coordinator in the league, good luck, you are going to need it. However, we have to look at the cost. A trade of this magnitude does not come cheap. We are talking about first-round draft capital, potential starter-level players, and a massive financial commitment. But I say, who cares? You play to win the game. You play to stack trophies. If you have the opportunity to pair a generational motor like Crosby with the defensive genius of Mike Macdonald, you do not hesitate. You pull the trigger. The Raiders might be reluctant to move their face of the franchise, but everyone has a price. If Seattle puts a package on the table that Las Vegas cannot refuse, we are looking at a defense that could rival the legendary Legion of Boom in terms of pure impact.
This is about intimidation. This is about walking onto the field and breaking the will of your opponent before the coin toss. Max Crosby brings an energy that is infectious. He plays every snap like it is his last. That fits the Seattle culture perfectly. This is not just a roster move, it is a declaration of war on the rest of the NFL. The front office knows that to repeat, they cannot remain static. They have to get better. And there is no single player available who makes a defense better instantly than Max Crosby. The mere thought of him in a Seahawks uniform should send shivers down the spines of the 49ers, the Rams, and the Cardinals. This is the kind of swing for the fences that defines a general manager's legacy. If they pull this off, book the tickets for the next parade right now.
Now we arrive at the most explosive and potentially divisive story of the entire offseason. We are talking about Kenneth Walker III, the man who just put the team on his back and delivered a performance for the ages to win the Super Bowl MVP award. He enters free agency with all the leverage in the world, or so he thinks. Rumors are intensifying that the Seattle Seahawks are preparing to slap the franchise tag on their star running back to prevent him from hitting the open market. Let's call this what it is, a ruthless business decision. From a management perspective, it makes perfect sense. The running back market is depressed. You can control a premier asset for 1 year at a fixed cost without committing to a long-term deal that might age poorly. It is the smart, analytical move. But from a human perspective, from a respect perspective, this is a slap in the face. This man just carried you to the promised land. Kenneth Walker III was the engine of this offense. He provided the explosive plays, the grit in the red zone, and the identity of this football team. To turn around and tell the MVP of the Super Bowl, we value you enough to keep you, but not enough to pay you what you are worth long-term, is a dangerous game to play with the locker room. Players notice this. They see how you treat your stars. If you tag him, you guarantee his services, sure. But do you guarantee his happiness? Do you guarantee his commitment? We have seen this story play out with running backs across the league. They hold out. They get disgruntled. The chemistry fractures. Is it worth saving a few $1 million against the cap if it alienates your best offensive weapon? Kenneth Walker III has earned the bag. He has earned the security. Using the franchise tag is a mechanism of control, and while it is legal under the CBA, it creates immediate tension. The Seahawks are walking a tightrope here. They need him on the field, but they need him motivated. If he refuses to sign the tag, or if he holds out of training camp, the entire vibe of the offseason changes. This is the dark side of the NFL success story. You win the ring, you get the glory, and then the team tells you that you are still just a number on a spreadsheet. If Seattle uses the tag, they are telling the world that they prioritize flexibility over loyalty. It might be the right move for the salary cap, but it is the wrong move for the soul of this team. Walker is not just a running back, he is the heartbeat of the offense. Treat him like one.
This is the crossroads of a dynasty. You lose a critical coach, you chase a superstar defender, and you risk alienating your offensive MVP with a franchise tag. John Schneider has ice in his veins, but this offseason is a minefield. One wrong step and the hope for a repeat championship evaporates into thin air. I need to hear from you right now in the comments. Is trading the farm for Max Crosby worth it, or should they focus all that money on paying Kenneth Walker III the long-term contract he deserves? Do not sit on the fence. Let me know your thoughts, stay locked in, and as always, go Hawks!